Hello, hello. This is part 2 of graphing nonlinear functions. So if you haven't watched part 1, please go back and do so. So in the first one, we looked at the parent function y equals x squared. And then when we changed that to y equals x squared plus 1, we were able to see that moved our general shape of the U shape up 1. On this next one, we're going to look at something a little different. And each one of these, you're just going to be plugging in values. So please get used to that. So let's say that we have y equals x cubed. Okay, so this is going to give you a specific shape as well. And so I still want to use the same domain. It's just easy. You can use anything, but I promise you'll like me for this. It's better than all the other stuff. Okay, so when we cube a number, remember, you're not multiplying by 3, you're multiplying it by itself 3 times. And so if I do -2 cubed, that's saying -2 times -2 times -2. So -2 times -2 is 4, times -2 is -8. Same thing here. -1 times -1 times -1. -1 times -1 is 1. Times -1 is -1. I know, crazy. 0, we know that's going to give us 0. And then same here. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So now I have my coordinates that I'm able to graph here. And I'm just kind of being as visual as I possibly can, putting the parentheses around them so that we're able to graph this easily. So when I look at this, so I have -2, -8. So -2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -1, -1. So -1, -1. 0, 0. 1, 1. And then 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. And then we would connect. Not so bad at the curves in comparison because they can look a little funky, and so it's going to kind of make us this curvy little line this way and then up through there. So that is what this parent function is always going to look like. Now, we also, guys, we're going to be working through several of these, and like I said, we've done these before, and I'm just trying to get us another grid up there so that we can look at another example. But let's say, this kind of goes back to our parent function from before. Let's say that we have y equals -x squared. Okay, so I'm going to go, here's my default domain, and I'll have -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Now, when I look at this is like -x squared is like saying -1 times whatever your x squared is. Okay, so order of operations tells me that I'm going to square this value and then multiply it by -1. Okay, and so -2 squared is 4, but then times -1 is -4. -1 squared is 1. But then times -1 is -1. 0, we're going to say the same. 1 squared is 1, but then times -1 is -1. 4 squared is 4, but then times -1 is -4. So when I graph this, we have -2, -1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have -1, -1. Then we have 0, 0. Then we have 1, -1. And then we have 2, -4. And so you'll hopefully remember this vaguely, but when you had our parent function was y equals x squared, which looked like a U. And so when we added a negative to it, multiplying it by -1, it just flipped it upside down. And so that's another thing we're going to look at is how did it change these things? Because this is a conversation that will be important as we go through. But that's what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be graphing us some curves and seeing how we do with that.